Ahoy there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to Football Talks. Today we are going to be talking about predicting the win-loss records for two teams today, the Texans and the Lions. I'm joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, hey!
All right. Well, before we get to any of that, there are two things I need to know. I mentioned it in a little note on the last video: the Hopkins one-day holdout and Eric Ebron's injury. First, I'll talk about Houston because I don't think there's much I need to really say on it. I think it was good that they were able to get him out of it early and get him back into the warm-up because a lot of people say that Texans offense is not good at all without him yet. Because the other team, like the players, aren't either not up to snuff or just too young, like they're too green. Because remember, we have a lot of younger players. We've got a second-year wide receiver, Jalen Strong, and then after that, on the depth chart, you have Cecil Shorts and two rookies.
Yeah.
The tight end spot, you have C.J. Fedorowicz, and who's not good. I think he's garbage. And Ryan Griffin, who is recovering a bit from an injury still, I think.
Right.
I think he's still on the PUP list. But the only tight end who I can think of there, he's still green too. He's a rookie. He was Jared Goff's main target, Steven Anderson. I say keep an eye out on him because he plays like a wide receiver. And he's made some good catches in SoCal. So I look forward to him appearing. And actually, a little teaser: he will be in my bold predictions.
Ooh.
So anyway, the thing with Hopkins, I'm glad they took him out or they got him out of there because the franchise tag opportunity for the Texans will come again in 2018. So if he could just hold out there, and he'll be paid like a superstar. He wants to get paid a lot. He's going to get $20 million the first year thanks to the franchise tag, and I can only imagine how much he'll get paid afterwards for each and every year. And he's probably going to have to get a lot of guaranteed money because of the holdout. But Bill, explain why why he wants to get locked in now, or a change to his current 2 years.
Well, the issue is with DeAndre Hopkins is he wants to get locked into a long-term deal, so that way he has financial security. And as with everything in the NFL, they'll cut you at a moment's notice. If you get a knee injury and you get another knee injury, you're not going to get paid. And let's just say DeAndre gets a knee injury, then that hurts his value going into his next negotiation, which will in turn affect his guaranteed money. And if he's getting his money when he's healthy, then he doesn't run the risk of getting injured, and then the team goes, "Oh, well, you're injured. I don't want to give you as much guaranteed money because we have another risk of an injury to you."
Yep. But I'm pretty sure he'll be paid like a superstar regardless. I mean, this past year he went from, like I told you this earlier, 2 years ago, back when Fitzpatrick was starting, they had him listed on the roster depth chart, and according to pundits, as an average starter. He went from average to elite in the span of that time, in that time frame. So
Yep.
I'd like to think he's going to get paid a lot regardless. But I think it's impressive how he went from, I wouldn't say worst, but now he's up there with Dez, Antonio Brown, and Julio Jones. Notice how I left out a name that everyone would include in there, because that's a
Yep.
shot at that childish little shit. But he was the third best wide receiver statistically on there, and in fact, I think he made some of the best catches the whole year. Honestly, those are debatable though, but I think he made some wonderful catches, and of course made mincemeat of even some of the best of the cornerbacks, especially Revis Island. It got nuked. So next we will talk about we'll go to Detroit for a bit. So Bill, explain what happened in one of the Detroit sessions with the Steelers.
Well, really, the sessions with the Steelers were quite. I didn't actually really watch too much of the sessions with the Steelers, so I'm actually more
I haven't.
in the
I
dark
didn't.
than you are.
I
Well,
haven't. But
I'll put it
well,
this
I'm talking
way.
about what the injury. That's what we're talking about here. With
Yeah,
Ebron.
the injury with Ebron. Yeah,
Yeah, that
well,
happened when they were practicing with them.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Well, Ebron had an injury, which is been deemed. Well, he was carted off the field, and
So that's
the
a red
major,
flag. That's always a
yeah,
red flag.
the major fear with that was that he tore his Achilles and they was done for the year, and that was a word around Detroit. And then it was found out that it wasn't an Achilles injury, and he kept telling people that it wasn't an Achilles injury, and that was just an ankle injury. Well, no one has heard hide nor hair about what this injury is because the Lions are starting to implement the Patriots way. The Patriot way of not saying anything about injuries. And I, for one, as a Detroit Lion fan who lives here, you know, I am I'm just glad that they're giving nothing to the media. Don't talk about anything. Don't do anything. That was the old way. The new way is the Patriot way. It's a winning way. Don't say anything. Just keep your nose to the grindstone. Everything else is a distraction. Nothing needs to be worried about. And I'll put it this way. I for one am glad that I haven't heard anything about Ebron's injury. And, I'll put it this way. I don't think it's as bad as anyone has said because I've actually seen footage on the local news of him walking around on the practice field. So, you know.
Yeah, he should be fine, hopefully. And well, there's only one way they have to talk about an injury if it's season ending, and if they sign somebody. That's the only way you'll know if they talk about a player immediately after he gets hurt.
Yep.
So, with that said, I think we can now dive into the win-loss predictions. So I think right now we're going to start with Houston. Houston, if you recall, last season went 9-7, were 1-5 at one point, then won all but two of their games afterwards. Really, what everyone argues was the pivotal moment, because first, to start their momentum, they just shit on the Titans, but everyone can beat the Titans, especially last season. Everyone could. And then what was pivotal was the Bengals win, primarily when Hopkins got that touchdown from not Tom Savage, from T.J. Yates, because T.J. Yates is always the anti-Bengal player. He will always beat them. It is forever ingrained in Bengal lore. So if your team is going to play the Bengals and you lose your quarterback, you sign T.J. Yates.
Yep.
Anyway, so after that, it was what it was. They got shut out in the playoff game against the Chiefs. And now, of course, they've signed Lamar Miller, Brock Osweiler, drafted Will Fuller, Braxton Miller. I mean, all in all, you know what you've heard this song and dance from me before, but that's just a quick little recap. So, Bill, would you mind if I went first for this team?
I do not mind.
Okay, I'm going to give you what I honestly think will happen, but I will give a low case because Brock Osweiler is such a X factor to this whole season. I think everyone is agreeing. That's why they're going with safe conservative. They're going with safe conservative win losses like 8-8, 9-7. However,
Yep.
I will say I'm not going to play like that. I'm going to go with the best case and say that he plays, I wouldn't say elite level. I'm not going to say he's going to play as good as Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. No, I'm just going to say he's playing good, mistake-free football, because that's all he needs to do. You saw how we did with the mediocre quarterback, so imagine if we had an above-average quarterback.
Right.
This team can go places. So,
Exactly.
Anyway, the other thing to note, J.J. Watt's out, and I don't know how long he's going to be out. I'll give you an idea of how long I think he's out. They're saying that they're going to keep him out as long as they need to make sure he is absolutely healthy, because the last thing you want to do is rush him out in the field and risk him getting hurt again, which is fine because this is the beginning of the season. If you want to have a player not show up for your games, it's better for the beginning than in the final stretches when you need all hands on deck, especially if you're desperate to take a playoff spot from another team, right?
Right.
So I will give an idea. I'm going to take a guess as to when he'll return. So I'll tell you when
Okay.
that happens. So for now, J.J. Watt's not in for my picks. He's not in yet. He is not in the roster again playing. So first game, Chicago. It's clear as day how this one I think will go. Chicago is getting better, but I heard they lost their other first round pick, not Kevin White. He's coming back and as raw as ever, but now they lost their first round player for this past draft. I forget his name, and I don't know for how long, but he's hurt. So that is a
Yep.
very unfortunate luck for the Bears. Things can't
Yep.
go their way. But regardless, him being there or not, I don't think it would have mattered because you have Jadeveon Clowney fully healthy and you have Whitney Merciless too. Both of them are going to make up for what J.J. Watt's absence. I think those two are the best linebackers put together next to each other. So that's going to be
Right.
great. They're going to make mincemeat out of Jay Cutler, and it's going to be a good start. 1-0 for the Texans. Next game, the Chiefs, a rematch, and I don't think it's going to go that well. I think it won't be a 30 to nothing shutout because Brock Osweiler I think is a way better upgrade than freaking Brian Hoyer. But I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs. Even when they have Justin Houston, I will say this one's almost a toss-up. But I will give it to the Chiefs for this one. So 1-1, a loss at home. But the next game, Thursday night football. This one will be. You can watch it on Twitter too. All Sunday or Thursday night football games you can watch on Twitter, and that's wonderful. But I don't need to because this one's on CBS. So the Patriots without Tom Brady, the Texans without J.J. Watt. How will it go? I'm gonna give it to. This was a shocker. Usually the Texans always have that one game where they go to some other team's house and takes a win from them when it was all on them. I mean, last year you had the Bengals for that. It's like, oh, the Bengals are going to shit on the Texans. We all thought that. I thought that because I had given up on the Texans at that point, but they won, and this is the one they'll win. I will also call this a toss-up because I don't know how Jimmy Garoppolo is. He's about as much of an X factor for the Patriots as Brock Osweiler is for Houston. I'll give the Texans the win. Barely. I think it'll be a good game.
Right.
Anyway, next, the Tennessee Titans. This is at home. Mariota may or may not be here, but who cares? If Mariota's here, guess what? J.J. Watt has come back too, and he's going to welcome Mariota to the NFL with a sack. So Watt's back with a vengeance. The team is back on to its full potential, and that's another win. They are currently 3-1, I believe.
Yep.
Next, at Minnesota. Okay, so this one I have a lot of trouble with because I am not a believer in Teddy Bridgewater in terms of him being. I've heard shit saying that he's an elite quarterback, that he will be. I don't see it. I could see him at best being an above average, but I just don't see him being the face of the franchise. He's gonna have to be, but until then, it's Adrian Peterson all the way.
Yep.
But I will concede. I will give it to the Vikings. I mean, we should be thankful. I mean, even if it were in winter, it's going to be in a dome. So yeah, not weather ain't concern. I'm just going to give it to the Vikings for their defense to just outplay the Texans' defense by a bit. So that's another loss. They're 3-2, I think.
Yep.
Next, at Colts or home to Colts, Sunday Night Football. The Texans with meeting Andrew Luck again. I think this game they will beat him because the last time they beat him, that was his rookie season. So technically after that they've never beat him. And the last time they beat the Colts at Indy was against backups. So yeah, getting a win against Andrew Luck will really put a dent in Indy's confidence because surprisingly, everyone is not sure whether to give it. I've heard split things. People are saying, "Oh, the Colts have it. It's their division. It's always been their division." But others are saying, "No, it's the Jaguars this year because everyone's hyped on the Jaguars." But I'm going to give it to the Texans. I think I've always said for years that they should split with the Colts, and that's what it's gonna be. So here's a win for here's a win for the Texans. 4-2, I think we're at.
Yep.
Okay. At Denver. There are theories now. There are rumors that the third string quarterback for the the Broncos is going to start. Now, at first, those were mere whispers and people dismissed them, but now there's legit sayings that Gary Kubiak might pick the third guy. I forget his name, but I
No
mean, if I
idea.
remember, I'll throw it up on screen. But that guy might start, so interesting. We won't be seeing Mark Sanchez butt fumble or Paxton Lynch. Who Paxton Lynch ain't ready. None of those first round pick quarterbacks are ready.
Right.
So no matter who starts, I think the Texans defense will put a stop to the Denver offense. Because to be honest, I think Denver's offense has been average regardless. So if they get shut down too, who's going to come out? I think Brock Osweiler will make a statement and saying why he left Denver for a better team, and he will go get a touchdown himself, like run in for a
Oh,
touchdown and just stick it to John Elway. So there's a win for Houston at Denver. That's not a nice place to be.
yep. Nope.
So they've won at New England and at Denver in my win-loss so far.
Oh, damn.
So next at Lions or home to Lions, you would think this is a game, an easy like a trap game where everyone's bet the Texans and the Lions will win. But sorry, Bill, I've got the Texans beating the Lions. Don't worry,
Okay.
Bill. The Lions' record, at least when we get to them, won't be as bad. So at the bye, the Texans have only lost to the Chiefs and the Vikings. All right. So coming off a bye, they are at Jacksonville. I will say Jacksonville might become a legitimate threat, and I say this because I give the Jaguars the win over the Texans here. So that is the third loss of the
Ooh.
season, I believe, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. So
Yep.
next, at Oakland, but this is not at Oakland. This is not where the Golden State Warriors are. No, we're going to Mexico City for this game, Monday Night Football. But I have the Texans winning this because it's not really a home game for Oakland. I expect more Texas fans to show up over there because it's like you expect a lot. Mexico likes the Texas teams a lot, and of course Texans don't have to travel as far as Oakland, but we'll see. But especially considering the Texans have only lost 2 games at this point, you're going to start to see a bandwagon effect. This always happens with teams who just start doing good out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Golden State and Seattle Seahawks?
And currently you're at 7-3.
And currently
Because
what?
Of, 7-3. Chiefs, Vikings, and Jaguars. You have
Yep.
losing to.
Next,
Yep.
home to Chargers. Now, remember how we were talking about injury bugs and Abron is maybe getting off lucky? The Chargers aren't so much. Not even the season hasn't even started. They've already lost Stevie Johnson for the year.
Yeah.
Goodbye. The Chargers' woes they keep piling on. They should be thankful they're not hosting the Texans because it would be a Texans home game in San Diego. So yeah,
Yep.
goodbye San Diego. You're gone. The Texans will steamroll you. Sorry, Phillip Rivers, not to shit on your career because you're a great quarterback, but nope, this isn't your year, sadly. Then, oh boy, can the Texans do it again? If you recall, Bill, last time the Texans went to Green Bay, that was with Matt Schaub, and nobody thought the Texans would win, and it was cold, by the way. It was around this time, and they won. Are they gonna win? No, I don't think so. I'd love that to be. That would be my upset. I would take the Packers, beat the Packers at Lambeau over beat the Brady-less Patriots. Won't happen. I mean, at least J.J. Watt won't have to be shivering his ass off because this is what he's used to. But can't say the same about the other players.
Right.
Next at Indy. This is on my brother's birthday, actually. So that was a loss to the Packers, and yet another loss comes in with the Colts. I don't like that, Bill, but it must happen. I say they split all the time. This is where they split. Andrew Luck gets the edge over the Texans, and then we're on to week 15. I believe the Texans have lost 6 games, right?
5.
Oh, 5? Are you sure? Let me count.
Colts, Packers, Jaguars, Vikings, and Chiefs.
Wow, really? Huh. I'm surprised they did that. Oh well. Anyway, so at home to Jacksonville, they're gonna steamroll these guys. Because last time, I mean, yes, the Jaguars beat them here, but that was last time. This time, the Jaguars have a lot of trouble in Houston, and I think those woes continue as Blake Bortles gets manhandled by the entire front seven. And then Christmas
Okay.
Eve, wouldn't it be nice to get another win? No, sadly no. I think Cincinnati wants its revenge. I think Cincinnati will win in overtime for this game. We have an overtime thriller, but the Bengals shall win. That is the sixth loss for the Texans, right?
Yep.
And then home over at the Titans. And New Year's Day, no problem. The Titans get destroyed. The Texans win the division at 10-6. Good shit.
Ooh,
I
nice.
have a 10-6 record. However, worst case scenario, that I will give them an 8 or 8-8, 7-9. But I honestly believe that they will do just fine without. Like, they'll be just fine without Watt for the early games because look, two of them are at home, and then one's at with the Brady-less Patriots. I mean, it's not like the Patriots aren't going in with their full force of team players, right?
Right.
Anyway, go ahead and give off your predictions, Bill.
All right. So the Toothless Bears go into Houston to start off their season. And yeah, Jay Cutler is going to throw a bunch of interceptions, even with no pass rush for Jay Cutler. So I'm expecting the Bears to lose because they don't have Matt Forte. Their receiving core is
They
decimated.
lost Martellus Bennett.
They don't have Martellus Bennett. I mean, the Bears don't have their cast. It's literally Jay Cutler and no one else. So I have them losing to the Houston Texans, and the Houston starts out 1-0. So the following week at home against the Kansas City Chiefs, I have Houston losing to the Chiefs because Jamal Charles, I honestly don't think that J.J. Watt won't be back. He won't be back until the bye week. So I'm going with
Wow, you are
that
giving him a
assumption.
long time frame.
I'm giving him a long time frame. I honestly believe he'll come back at the bye week. But I think Jamal Charles will, he'll be used to his full effectiveness again. And I honestly believe, Alex Smith is just that accurate quarterback. He only takes what the defense gives him. And that's typically enough. I don't know if Houston's pass rush will be as ferocious. You never know. You do have Jadeveon Clowney, but I'm just going to go conservative with this, and I'm going to pick the Chiefs just on the strength of Jamal Charles.
I didn't
Now,
even consider him in their win because honestly, I don't think he's gonna be as good as before. But it doesn't matter. Their team is so balanced. I think they'll be fine.
right, so I have them at 1-1. So the following week,
Thursday night.
with Jimmy Garoppolo and the New England Patriots at New England, and it's hard to pick against the Patriots even without Tom Brady, and the mere fact that they had a season where they went 11-5 without Tom Brady points to the fact that they can win without Tom. I'm just I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think Stephen Gostkowski is going to win the game for them. So the Patriots I have winning against Houston, and Houston starts 1-2.
Okay.
But but they get 10 days or 10 or 14
It's
something
10, I think. Yes, it's
10
10.
days 10 days to prepare for this hapless team, and this hapless Tennessee Titans team that's going to come into Houston, and they are going to get blown out of the building. I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed, and Houston is going to crush the Titans in Houston, and they're going
But
to
will
start
we
the season
remember the
2-3.
Titans?
Will we remember the Titans? Not after the Houston Texans get done with them.
Right, Bill.
Uh,
Week 5.
week 5 in Minnesota. I again think, the issue will be the offense for both teams. If Brock Osweiler is performing at his highest, and DeAndre is doing his thing, and the other Texans receivers are doing amazing, I think Houston has it. But I'm gonna still call this conservatively, and I'm gonna pick the Vikings, even though I don't want to do it. I just think, Adrian Peterson and, just Minnesota's defense might stifle a little bit of Osweiler. I'm not too confident in this pick, but I'll still give it to Minnesota just conservatively. Now, I'm in the camp that the Indianapolis Colts, and this is the following week, so they're 2-3. The following week they go to Indy.
No, they are
Now,
hosting Indy.
Oh yeah, they're hosting Indy. So they're 2-3 and they're hosting Indy. I'm in the camp that the Indianapolis Colts defense is still horrifically bad.
Yeah.
And
The only thing worse than theirs is Dallas. Just wait till we get to Dallas next time. Just fucking wait. Go on.
This defense is horrifically bad, and you have the best wide receiver in the league, arguably, going against it. Yeah, I'm calling this one a win for the Houston Texans, and they're 3-3. So they are at the defending champions the following week in week 7, and against the defending champions, they will blow out the defending champions in Denver because that team is not as good as everyone thinks that they will be. That team is a 5-11.
They say
they will not make the playoffs.
They think that they are a quarterback-proof team, but remember, who was a quarterback-proof team before that Super Bowl happened? Houston. So imagine when they actually have a good enough starting quarterback. What does that mean? This team's potential is insane.
So the Denver Broncos get blown out at home by the Houston Texans, and everyone starts freaking out in Denver, asking what's the matter with their team.
This is Houston's Cincinnati game, basically, from last year.
Yep.
Shock the world.
Houston is then 4-3, and they go to they're at home against the Detroit Lions. And
what do you got, Bill?
My Lions come back, and they play really well, and I can't go against my Lions. I gotta pick them. They're 4.
You're going the trap game route.
And they're 4-4. So after the bye week, they get J.J. Watt back, and it rejuvenates the team, and they play in Jacksonville against the Jaguars, and J.J. Watt spurs the team to a rousing victory over a upcoming team in the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they start off after the bye week, and they're up to 5-4. But the real game where they really announced themselves to the national stage is in Mexico City against a really good Raiders team, where they defeat the Raiders in Mexico City and go 6-4. And then they pick on the San Diego Chargers at home.
Rip.
They really pick on them really badly because they are going to be an injury-riddled mess. And they are going to pick on them badly. J.J. Watt and the rest of the
little brother
team
there too.
Phillip Rivers is going to be running for his life, and they're going to lose pretty decisively and pretty badly. And Houston goes 7-4.
I forgot to mention JJ's little brother is with the Chargers. I think he's a tight end. If he knows what's good for him, he should know. He should not. He should pray to the coach that he shouldn't be lined up against his brother, because his big brother is going to dismantle him. The fam, like, forget the coaches getting mad. Wait till the parents get mad at JJ for destroying the little brother. So,
And now here's the shocker of the entire season for the Houston Texans.
oh
They
God,
go
Bill.
into Green Bay and they put up their best offensive game against the Green Bay Packers defense, which is not good. DeAndre Hopkins has his best game of the year against the Packers, and the Houston Texans defeat the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau,
Oh
and
my
they go
God, good
in
shit,
four.
mate. Good shit.
Followed by they go into Indianapolis and crush the Colts again,
Ha!
throwing on another crappy defense and go 9-4. That makes them 5-0 after the bye week.
So they've won all their games because Watt's back. That sounds like a case. Bill, if you make the bold prediction I'm gonna try to make, I am gonna sue you for plagiarism. But
And then
continue.
the following week, they go and play at home against the Jaguars. The Jaguars and the Texans play a close game, but I think the Texans have enough in it, and they go 10-4.
Nice.
Now, the issue becomes the following week, and the Cincinnati Bengals go into Houston and exercise some demons and break the streak, and the Bengals win, and they go 10-5. And
Alright.
then
The Titans.
at the Titans at this point are 1-14.
Oh no.
And
Bill, are you sure you're not thinking of the Browns? Because at least the Titans have a promising quarterback. Are you sure you're not thinking of Cleveland here?
yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a 1-15 team, and that'll be the Titans, and there's gonna be an 0-16 team, and that's Cleveland. Uh, and
I wouldn't mind seeing the Cowboys being the 1-16 team, or 1-15
and at the very end, the Houston Texans put a statement win against the Tennessee Titans
with
and
backups.
clinch a 11-5 record in their division.
They probably will get a bye week with that record. With my record that I gave, I thought I was gonna give a too good record, but you went above me, which is surprising. So the Texans to you lose to the Chiefs, Patriots, Vikings.
Yep.
Who else? Oh, the Lions
Lions
and the
and
Bengals.
then Bengals.
I have them losing to the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Jaguars, the Packers, Colts, and Bengals. But if
So we got pretty close.
yeah. Alright, so in just one moment we will be talking about the Lions schedule. Just a second. Okay, so here we are with the Lions schedule. Honestly, the Lions are set up to do good because they have the they have the NFC East, which is a bunch of scrubs if you ask me. I will not be surprised if a 7-9 or 8-8 team makes the playoffs with them because they are not going to be the all four teams are great era NFCs. That's what everyone believes them to be. Isn't that right, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, with you and your
Right.
freaking boners for the NFC East? But you have the AFC South too, which while they're all half of them are scrubs. Technically, they have an opportunity to erase that title. Primarily Jacksonville, but that's for another thing. So, Bill, since I went first, I will let you go first with the Lions home no at Indy. I thought they would be
And
hosting them.
this is the year of horrifically bad defenses that the Lions are going to face.
That's why I said they're set up.
And it immediately starts off in Indianapolis against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts defense, as mentioned earlier, is horrifically bad, and the Lions have 4 great wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end. Yeah, good luck with that. the Indianapolis Colts are going to lose, and they're going to lose pretty badly, I think, to the Lions. The Lions' defense is underrated, and yeah, the Indianapolis Colts are not going to like Jim Bob Cooter's offense. So the Lions start out 1-0. Onwards, they go and play the Tennessee Titans at home uh, the following week. And to be honest, Marcus Mariota can't help his team. He's gonna throw a lot of interceptions in this game. The again, the Titans defense needs to stop a pretty high-powered Lions offense, and the Lions are going to score a bunch of points on Tennessee and blow them out of the water. And they start out the season 2-0. And now, where everyone will pick Green Bay and I won't, the following week they are playing in Green Bay against the Green Bay Packers. Remember when the impossible, the improbable, you can't break the streak, right? The Packers will always beat the Lions at Lambeau.
Yep.
And that got beat last year. Well, they'll get back flag crybaby Jordy Nelson, and he will be asking for a lot of flags when the Detroit Lions just put up 45 on them in Green Bay, and their defense collapses, and then Aaron Rodgers will be asking his fans for them to RELAX again after the Lions beat them badly in Green Bay.
All right, what do you got?
Following week, they go to Soldier Field. They start out the season 3-0. This is the trap game. This is the trap game for the Lions, and they come out and they just rush 4 people at Jay Cutler, and they cover up their wide receivers, and they literally can't do anything on offense. And the Bears succumb to the Lions, and the Lions start out 4-0. God knows what's going on with the Eagles in Week 5 when they come to visit the Detroit Lions. Their team has been ravaged by idiotic decisions. Literally, I can't name one player from their team right now.
I can only think of Hurns because of his name, and Fletcher Cox because everyone will shut up about him.
I mean, they are a mess. They're a Chip Kelly mess, and the mess won't defeat the Lions. I predict a Thanksgiving happening to them where they get cooked really early, and they're going to lose.
I wish this was a Thanksgiving game.
That makes the Lions 5-0. So they host the Rams the following week.
This is a trap game. Where are the Rams from, Bill?
Los Angeles.
Okay, good. You didn't make the mistake this time.
The Los Angeles Rams will have a bad time with their rookie quarterback, and I honestly think he's gonna throw like 2 or 3 picks against Lions. They're gonna bait him, and I honestly believe the Lions are going to start out the season 6-0.
Oh God. Okay, Bill. Now you have the NFC East champions with Kirk Cousins.
The NFC East champion, the Washington football team, will stun the Detroit Lions at home. They will stun them at home and make them go 6-1. And the Lions will be getting too cocky for their own good. This will be the wake-up game when they lose to the Washington football team at home.
All right, next. This game.
So they wake up to play the Houston Texans, and they play well against the Texans. Obviously, I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Lions will prevail and go 7-1.
All right, now you have the Vikings, the NFC North champions. Everyone thinks Green Bay won. Still, they forgot that the Vikings are the ones who won that final game.
And I think this is also going to be a close game, and I think the Vikings will actually beat Detroit in Detroit or at Minnesota
In their shiny new
uh,
dome.
in their new stadium. They're going to defeat the Lions, but I honestly, that's a perfect way to go into the bye week, which is the following week. So the week after the bye week, they start after the bye week 7-2, and they play the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. And
Oh wait, Bill,
that's
we forgot about the Eagles. Something they have somebody there. I just realized.
oh yeah, Schwartzy Poo is there, and he's going to lose horrifyingly bad.
But
That team's a
I will make
cluster.
up for that mistake when it's my turn. I just remembered about him. I thought he went to Jacksonville for a second because I know he was going to
Oh yeah.
consider signing there. But go on,
So
Bill.
at home, the Lions will take care of the Jaguars, showing who the king of the jungle really is. And then they host the Minnesota Vikings on Thanksgiving, and it's going to be another case of the Lions getting revenge for a loss, and they will defeat the Minnesota Vikings and go 9-2.
All right.
So, week 13, and they're in New Orleans, and this will also exercise more demons for the playoff loss. They are going to play in the Superdome against the New Orleans Saints. They are going to go into New Orleans, and Drew Brees will have a bad game. Their offense is still reeling without having Jimmy Graham. I honestly, and their defense is non-existent. So they will win against the New Orleans Saints and go 10-2. And then week 14, a rematch with the Toothless Bears. The Toothless Bears will be angry about losing, but they won't be able to do anything because I think Jay Cutler's going to quit on the season and throw 100 picks, and he's going to lose this game again, and the Lions will win. So that makes them 11-2.
Okay, here comes two road games.
Here comes two road games, and here we go in New York against the Giants. They will be looking to clinch the division.
Oh, so that's your prediction for that division.
They're gonna be looking to clinch the division, and they will not clinch the division in this game. They will lose to the New York Giants, leaving the door open, and they will lose to the Giants and go 11-3.
Huh.
But the following week,
Oh
on Monday
no.
Night Football, on Monday Night Football, the rematch of the playoff game. If Peter Morelli is the referee of this game, I will immediately call shenanigans on the NFL. If Peter Morelli is anywhere associated with this game, the NFL should look at themselves in a mirror and just be ashamed of themselves. The Detroit Lions will go to Dallas and win the game and clinch the NFC North and a first round bye in Dallas. And then the following week, at home against the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions will win that game and be motivated to knock the Green Bay Packers totally out of the playoffs. They will not make the playoffs this year, and Detroit will end their playoff hopes in week 17.
Huh. Wow, so you have them going 13-3.
Yep.
That is very optimistic, Bill.
I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm always known to not. They're going to go 7-9. I'm just gonna cry again.
Alright, Bill, let's see what I give them. So, first, at Indy. I agree, Bill. The Colts have no defense. They only have T.Y. Hilton on offense and Andrew Luck. So, we're going to have two gunslingers. This game I like on paper because it could be a good shootout, potentially. I mean, the best
Yep.
shootout of the year, and I'm hoping it becomes that because I will want to watch this game. Andrew Luck against the Packers. I think that will have over 100 points overall.
Ooh.
That's what I want to see. I want to see just touchdowns from both of these guys. But anyway, we have the Colts falling to the Lions. Next game at or home to the Titans. The Titans still irrelevant. Marcus Mariota, you're still green, buddy. Ezekiel Anza is gonna say hello and give you a sack. The Titans will fall and the Lions go 2-0. Then we go to the Packers. Bill, I know you say that you think they'll do it again. No, not this time. I don't think they will because they have that mindset. It's like, no, we don't want them to get the chance. They're gonna want to like shut down the Lions early to not let them get a win, and that's what's gonna happen. The Packers will win, and the Lions have their first loss. Next at Chicago, I wouldn't say this is a trap game. I could almost call this one a toss-up. Nearly, I'm gonna give it to the Lions, so the Lions will go 3-1. Next, at Philly with Jim Schwartz. That guy, that little shit's coming into my town again, thinking he could get carried off the field. Nonsense. I call a shutout. At 24-0, the Lions will win, and Jim Bob Cooter will be hoisted off the field in the face of Jim Schwartz, who will throw a tantrum and possibly get fined. But anyway,
and
what?
And Detroit fans don't forget and don't forgive. So
yeah.
Be prepared.
So Bill, next one. These games I think are the harder ones in this stretch. At St. Louis, or not? Now I made the mistake. I made two mistakes. It's at Los Angeles, the Rams, who I need to watch their Hard Knocks. But the Rams, this is the trap game, Bill. This is the trap game. I have the Rams taking this. I still have Case Keenum as the starter here. I don't think they're starting Jared Goff. And if he is starting, he's going to probably be more at risk. So they're going to start Case Keenum to be the meat shield, but he'll be just fine in the system. The Rams will win, and that is the Lions' second loss. Next, against the Washington football team. Bill, these were the champions, and honestly, if I have to pick a team among this division, I think Washington will repeat. I don't want the Racists to win, but it makes the most sense at this point, looking at everything that has been laid before me. This reminds me of a certain other race going on right now, but I will give it to Washington, so that's another loss. The Lions going down, because remember, Bill, I said the Texans would beat the Lions, and that is what's going to happen. I must maintain consistency, as the Texans will stomp the Lions. Then we have the Vikings, the last game before the bye. And alas, I think it might be a fun game, but it might also be a really bad game for the Lions, as they fall, and they have lost 5 games if I'm not mistaken. Right? They are 4-5 at the bye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, thankfully, you would think if they might lose their coach, Jim Caldwell, but I think they'll be fine because they're 4-5. They're only 1 game back. And this is where they pull a Houston Texans and turn up the dial, because home to Jacksonville. Because if it wasn't Jim Schwartz in Philly, he'd be here. The Jaguars get proven that they are not king of the jungle, like you say, because the Lions will take care of business. Then Thanksgiving, the Lions have been doing better in Thanksgiving, and I hope I don't jinx that, but I think they will handle the Vikings confidently. I'm talking 35-21, and those 21 points, at least 2 of those touchdowns are in garbage time.
Ooh.
So now they are 6-5, right?
Correct.
Okay. At the Saints. This one, I have the Saints falling because their defense, while it isn't non-existent, still bad. I will say this one could go the other way around, because I want to shit on Drew Brees because I just don't like the Saints, but I feel like I don't want to rule him out. Maybe. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
if anyone can win with a garbage team, it's him. Oh, he's one of the few. So Chicago, this is the trap game. This one is a trap game. This one will go into overtime, just like last year, but the Lions will prevail. Then this next one. How many games have I had them lose, Bill?
5.
Okay, so at the Giants. I really want the Lions to stick it to them again, but because this is on the road and it might be cold, I'm gonna give it to the Giants here because something tells me this is a very Lions game to lose and to blow. They might blow the lead on this one,
Oh yeah.
but this next one they will play the Dallas Cowboys and they will beat them because the Cowboys have no defense. And Tony Romo might be injured anyway. I don't trust the Cowboys team for anything. If no one gets hurt, they might win enough games to get in the division, but the Lions are in a spot now to get a playoff berth.
Yep.
They have lost 6 games, right?
Correct.
So, win one more, you might win the division against the Packers. And this one will be on Sunday Night Football.
Ooh.
But I'm sorry, Bill. I've given it to the Packers again because this is this is just the curse, Bill. This is a Lions game to blow. And they're going to go 9-7.
Yep.
So I have them just missing the playoffs. However, it's all dependent on other teams because if the Vikings don't do as well as people are hyping them up to be, they could get in the second wild card spot because I think one of the wild card spots belongs to the Seahawks or the Cardinals. They're both getting in. I'm not doubting the Seahawks unless they're going like 0-5 to start the season. I'm not going to doubt Russell Wilson anymore. I'm going to hate him, but I'm not going to doubt his skill now. But I have them going 9-7. Hey, at least they went above their expectations. Is everyone shitting on them? They went 7-9 last year. This is only the beginning because the line is green and it's only going to get better as time goes along. And who knows? Next draft they can maybe draft another wide receiver or get another cornerback, right? Yep. So that's what I have to build off of. Well, let's see, how are we doing on time? 52 minutes. Okay, Bill, we have enough time to talk about bold predictions for these two teams. We will talk about general bold predictions and the how we think the playoff seedings will occur in the next video. But for now, let's focus on we'll focus on the two teams that we talked about today, the Texans and the Lions. So, Bill, would you like to start us off with one, or should I do it for you?
You can go ahead first.
Alright, I'll give you mine. Steven Anderson for the Texans will become a breakout tight end in his first year, and he will become the #1 tight end on the depth chart. Right now he's behind CJ Fedorowicz and Ryan Griffin, but I think he will surpass both of them by the end of the year.
My first bold prediction for Houston.
Oh, you can pick either or.
I'm gonna sort of go with off of your back with Houston, and I'm going to stay with Houston. And I'm going to say that in addition to that, with that addition, the Houston Texans will have a top 5 ranked offense in the NFL.
Wow. Now that one is almost too good to give. On paper it could be that way come the end of the year, but I couldn't give it to that. I feel like even I'm not that crazy.
So, yeah, I honestly believe that could very possibly be the case.
Yes. Alright, so next one, this one revolves around the Texans too. After J.J. Watt comes back, he will storm the rest of the season and own it, like how he used to, and he will become NFL MVP.
Oh.
Remember, what was the reason why he couldn't get it when he went up against Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago? Oh, he didn't take his team to the playoffs and win a game. Well, what happens if he wins them a game in the playoffs? I know
Right.
playoff stats don't count, but the NFL MVP award does not get given out until a week before the Super Bowl. So there's plenty of time, assuming he can get all the way to the title game or even the Super Bowl, to make a case for himself. So, yes, he's going to miss weeks, but it's fine. If he gets to the playoffs and if he does something miraculous because everyone will be watching, he'll make a case.
Right.
I have Watt
And
becoming the MVP.
well, on your MVP talk, I also have awarded a Houston Texan the MVP trophy, but not J.J. Watt.
Oh god, I know who it is. Just say it.
DeAndre Hopkins will be the NFL MVP
What?
and lead the NFL in receiving yards, touchdowns, yak yardage. All major receiving categories will be led by DeAndre Hopkins. He will get close to all NFL records this season and win the MVP.
Damn, you're trying to steal my thunder. I was gonna have him be the NFL offensive MVP. But that's a good case, because I wonder when the last time a NFL MVP award has been given to a wide receiver.
I don't
I
know.
want to say it was probably Jerry Rice who got it. If anyone could get it,
Mostly.
it's him or Megatron. But Megatron, every time he didn't have great seasons with his whole team.
He put
Not
he
his
put on
stats,
some really
his
bad
the rest
teams.
of his team. Because honestly, you could have all the stats in the world, but you won't get an award unless you go to the playoffs. I mean, if you want an example, J.J. Watt. That season was phenomenal, but it didn't get him in the playoffs.
Right.
Had he made the playoffs, he might have taken that award from Aaron Rodgers. So there's
Very
that.
possible.
But I will say, you're saying he's going to beat Julio Jones and Antonio Brown.
Correct.
Jesus Christ! Now that's a sight I'd love to see. However, he would definitely be holding out next year for money.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now I will give one on the Lions. Golden Tate will once again hold the title for most yards after the catch. Because I think that's what he does best. He's going to be the number one target, but he's going to get lots of yards running, and he will become a top 10 wide receiver. I'm not saying he'll be past 5. He'll edge on there, be like 9 or 8. Because I'm a fan of Golden Tate and how he plays, and I think he'll be doing wonderful for the team.
I also have some Detroit ones. And here's my first Detroit one. Looking at their schedule, I have determined that this is kind of within the realm of possibility, but Matthew Stafford will have a 5,000-yard passing season.
Well, he has the potential to do it.
Yeah, he's done it before,
Eh,
but I think this year he's going to do it, and it's going to be an interesting year
Question:
for Matthew Stafford.
do yards after the catch from a wide receiver affect his numbers too? If
Yak yard?
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
if he threw a 10-yard pass and the player went 10 more yards, does it add to him as a 20 or is it just 10?
Yeah, that's 20.
Okay then. Well, with Golden Tate having that record, in my opinion, yeah, it can happen. But
Oh yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford for 5,000 yards has already happened. I think it's going to happen again this year.
that's good. That is a good one. Ezekiel Elliott will have 15 sacks. That is my bold
Ooh.
prediction. I would say he'd be defensive end, but that is for another player who I cannot talk about until we get to general bold predictions where I count every team, because this guy is not on any of the 4 teams we're talking about.
Another.
You could go ahead and guess, but I won't tell you who it is, even if you get it right.
Hmm. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine. I will say it's not Von Miller. It's not Von Miller.
Hmm.
Okay, so do you have any more for the Lions? Because I'm going back to
I
Houston after this.
I do have another one for the Lions, and I actually have 2 more. And the first of the 2 is that the Detroit Lions will have 4 1,000-yard receivers,
Huh.
wide receivers.
Oh God, you're counting Anquan Bolden, aren't you?
Anquan Bolden, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, and what? Oh my God! Oh, What's the other one? Jesus, I forget the
I mean,
last guy's name.
you could count a tight end with Eric Ebron.
I could, but 4 1,000-yard wide receivers.
Damn, it's crazy. I don't know if that's done. No one has ever done that before. Huh, I'm trying to think if I have one more for Detroit. I really can't think of one that would make sense. That's within reach.
Here's what I have left. One left for Houston and one more left for Detroit.
I've got like 2 or 3 more for Houston. But I'll go back to Houston. Maybe I'll remember the Detroit one in a moment. So my next one for Houston, Brock Osweiler will have a 4,000-yard season.
Ooh, okay. Okay, well, there goes one of my bold
Oh, I'm
predictions
sorry,
as well.
Bill. I'm sorry, Bill.
All good. So obviously, I also concur with that. That's also another.
There's one other player we are forgetting about, and that is, well, two. Well, I have him, but I haven't mentioned him yet. But the other guy, Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller will retake the hashtag It's Miller Time away from Von Miller, and he will rush for over 1,000 yards.
Nice.
I would say 1,200, but I think that's pushing it a little. Maybe that might have to count postseason. But next one is involving Jadeveon Clowney. For me, Jadeveon Clowney will have 12 sacks, and Whitney Merciless will have 10 sacks.
Damn.
So combine that with, so that's 22 sacks from both of them. And then who knows how many Watt's going to get. If I have to be nice, I'm going to give him 12 as a minimum. Because, remember, I'm going off of my theory that he'll come back in week 4.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, I think he will get 12 sacks. But that's just what I got.
You're conservative with that, if you know.
Yeah, but not with the other two. I
Back.
think Clowney will break out at long last. He will get 12 sacks, and he will be a great run blocker. He will stuff the run, especially when they play against some of the greater running backs later on, like Adrian Peterson. But then again, AP is going to be fading out. He should be, unless he knows what Tom Brady did and got the fountain of youth on his side. I mean, he had a whole year to find it since he beat his kid. But
oh, jeez.
But yeah, everyone forgot about that. It seems. So yeah. What else you got? I know you had one more for Detroit.
This is my last bold prediction, is that the much maligned defense that is on paper right now, the Detroit defense will be top 3 at the end of the year.
Huh. My next one, I've got 2 for Houston. I'm going to give one realistic one and one that's not so realistic, because you expect this out of me. For the first one, the Texans will win They will win the first round game in the playoffs because I say they're getting the 3rd seed. 4th could be possible, but I don't think they'll be getting the 4th. I think they'll nudge over for the 3rd. But for my final one, this one makes me insane. The Texans will be the first team to win a Super Bowl in their town.
Oh, jeez.
That's crazy, but if everything goes according to plan for Houston, would it not be crazy for them to be considered a Super Bowl contender? Would it be really crazy if everything stuck together and if their offense matched the power of their defense? Would they not be a considerable team? That's my question. Because it all hinges on Brock Osweiler and the new players. But really, it's on him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we are out of time. So, next time we are going to go over the Cowboys and the Patriots schedules, as well as talking about other bold predictions. So, yeah, I think that'll do. Do you have anything else to say, Bill?
I think I'm good.
Alright then, we will see you guys next time for the final preseason video. And then after that, it's on to the main season.